Trisha, you're the problem. You're the problem. You're the nucleus to all of this. You can stop the beefing between Marquez and Ken, but you don't want to. You don't want to. You want to keep the toxicity going for whatever reason. Marquez is right. The kids are traumatized. Why? It's not because their father, who was gone, has come back into their lives. It's because their mother pulls them into arguments. It's because their mother is confusing them by letting this other man act as their father. If Zaria is calling Ken daddy, that's Trisha's problem. Trisha, you are the problem. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is TammyTalks. We are gathered here today to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 10, Episode 2, I Am Ken-ough. That's a stupid title. What a stupid title. If you guys are brand new to the channel, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, leave your comments down below. We're on the road to 45,000 subs. So if this is your first time here, or your 10th, or your 100th, and you have not yet subscribed, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Shout out to everybody that showed up and out on the last recap. I appreciate y'all. Let's get right into it. So we start off with Trisha and Ken meeting up with their good friends, Kimmy and Maurice, for dinner, okay? They feel that Kimmy and Maurice have navigated, divorces and step-parenting so beautifully. Why not ask them for assistance? I'm like, did y'all? Okay. Okay. So, Maurice did terribly with Kiowa and Kimmy, where he allowed Kiowa to disrespect Kimmy over and over and over again. So that must be the advice that Trisha's taking, because Trisha is allowing Ken and Marquez to disrespect each other over and over again. But hey, whatever. So Kimmy and Maurice are staying in an Airbnb while they renovate their house right now. What are y'all changing that y'all got to stay in a whole Airbnb for? But okay. So I don't know what restaurant they're at, but there were no coasters put on the table. I know that they're filming a scene, but I thought it was rude that when the waitress was coming over and setting the food down, they were all just kind of move like, y'all can't say, okay, thank you. But like I was saying, I'm like, ooh, the lack of couth is astounding, okay? So Ken feels that him and Marquez will be super good. They'll have great moments, but then Marquez will do something to flip it. So Trisha said that Marquez came into their house uninvited, no notice or anything, which he did. She then goes on to say that Marquez got hostile with her and with her friend. No, that's not right. Your friend got hostile with Marquez first. And this is the problem. Trisha allows everybody to disrespect Marquez, to talk to Marquez any kind of way, to feed off of her energy towards Marquez, and then when he reacts, then you want to pin it on him. Is Marquez cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Absolutely. That nigga is so far off his rocker. However, a lot of what he is saying and a lot of how he feels is truth. Because again, there was no reason for your friend to even talk like that towards Marquez. Truth be told, you should have told your friend, hold on, girl, I got this, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. And so now for you to sit here and try to spin the story as if Marquez came in and was real rat-tat-tat-tat with your friend, that is not what happened. And you know it's not what happened, Trisha. Get your ass embarrassed at the reunion, I guess, whatever. So Marquez is like, okay, so Maurice was like, okay, so Marquez has stepped up. He did one bad and he did one good. Like, where do we go from here? Ken then said, well, the kids live with us, okay? The kids live with us. The teachers know me. If I go to the school right now and I ask those teachers, who be at the house, who shows up, they gonna say me. The fuck are you talking about, nigga? What are you talking about, Ken? Here's the thing, and we're gonna touch on this later. Ken wants the kudos for doing what he's doing. I don't think that Ken is stepping up and being this father figure and trying to be this all-American man for Trish just because he wants to. I think he wants the praise for it. You want the kudos for it. You want everybody to pat you on the back for it. You do, because you keep bringing it up. Nobody is saying that you're not doing anything for those kids, Ken. Not one person on the show has said that. Marquez ass don't count. But not one person has said that. But every episode, you find a way to Dear John us about how you are doing so much for these kids, so much for everything, and you just want everybody to know. If you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart and you're doing it because you really care about these kids, shut the fuck up about it. Shut up about it. I can't stand to hear people constantly talk about what they're doing. Well, I did this and I did that and I did this. Do you want a cookie? Like, I don't understand this. So Ken feels that Marquez needs to be respectful to him. Are you respectful to him? Because respect is earned, not given. It's earned, not given. From what we have seen, you have done nothing to respect Marquez. Absolutely nothing. Marquez has not done anything to you, Ken, for you to feel that you can't respect him. He honestly and truly haven't. I don't understand this. So then Ken was like, those are Marquez's kids, but this my family now. I get what you're saying, Ken, but you sound stupid saying that. This is the same woman that you had to damn near beg to go file for a divorce because she don't want to marry your ass. This is the same woman that had no reason not to file a divorce prior to this, but wouldn't. Kept saying it was complicated. Trisha's ass is hiding something. Something happened between Trisha and Marquez that we're missing. We're missing a piece of the puzzle. We're missing a step in the staircase. We're missing something. Trisha got some secrets, some bones in the closet, some skeletons somewhere, and that's why her ass is not rushing to file for a divorce. This is crazy, okay? So that was pretty much it, and then they poor editing, Carlos, but they recycled the scene because the food was sitting there. Then all of a sudden we see the food being set on the table, whatever. We then go see Martell. Martell is at, it looks like an antique shop or something. Salvation Army. He was somewhere talking about he wanted to get some furniture. I said, for what? He wants to get some furniture for his investment property, okay? So apparently Ariane is thinking of moving in. I said, oh, y'all so freely was saying Ariane's name now. I know there is a millimeter somewhere sliding down the wall, okay? So Destiny comes in and lets us know that she's going to be moving from a new storage locker downstairs. I said, ma'am, is that where you going to sell the candles out of? Or is it the real estate license that you're doing? Or is it Madonna? Got a lot of things going on, Destiny, okay? So Martell tells her that he is moving Ariane into his crib. And Destiny was like, y'all gonna be living together? Martell was like, no. We can't live together until we married. Destiny said, are you looking at rings? And Martell said in his confessional that, Ariane is wifey material. I said, since when? You've been calling the bitch a peasant since forever. But I guess the mistress is wifey material. Okay. Martell then said that he's been looking, thinking about some things. But he said, he's fresh out of a divorce. I said, fresh out of a divorce? Y'all have been divorced for what? At least 3 or 4 years, right? This is not a fresh divorce. He said that he is reminded of his divorce when he sees his kids, because apparently he thinks they look like her when all 4 of them Eminem kids got Martell's whole face. But I So Destiny said, you need to seek therapy. Go see the lady, okay? Because this, you're not over the divorce, okay? So Martell then asked Destiny about Lance. Destiny said, look, I gave him an open book test and he failed. And if somebody else piques her interest, then she'll go out with that person. And she said that dating is on and popping right now. Okay. She thinks that Lance is a nice man, but just, not for her, okay? Very classy way to say it. Martell wants to coach Destiny so she can find the man. Martell, please go find something else to do. Go buy this mismatched furniture to put up in that house for Ariane and them children and leave us alone. We pan over to Tisha and Marceau, and they are at Chateau Charade. Excuse me. They're at Scott Manor. Tisha reminds us that they have been building Scott Manor since 2019. Before the panorama. Before Kovisha came in and had us all shackled. But okay. So 6 years later, and all they got is a foundation and about 4 beams. I said, ha. Somewhere right now, Sheree feels vindicated. I'm gonna tell y'all that. So, at the rate they going, poor MJ won't even get to live in the manor. Now, is the house gonna be big AF? Sure, but what good is it? What do y'all need this big house for? When y'all already done got one child that's getting ready to go to college. I don't know how old the other 2 are, but that oldest girl looked like she got to be headed to high school. She gonna get what? Maybe 1 solid year in that house. Like, okay. Apparently, MJ wants to go to college in Michigan. Marceau is from Michigan, as we know. So he's okay with that. He's from Detroit. He's like, cool. Tisha feels that is too far for her. MJ probably want to get the hell away from y'all. So they are still working on a couple different projects, one being Maurice and Kimmy's project, mainly Kimmy's that we heard about last season, where Kimmy did not want to work with Marceau, but looks like she's doing it anyways. So Marceau said that it's hard doing this because he's getting direction from both of them, and they have 2 very, very, very different visions. Tisha said you should be following what Kimmy says because this is Kimmy's project. And Marceau was like, no, it's so hard. No, it's hard for Marceau to listen to a woman. We know that. Next, let's move on. Let's not rehash the foolishness that we know about Marceau. Tisha wants her brokerage to be completed first. And I'm like, y'all ain't got that done either. What have y'all gotten done? What have y'all gotten accomplished? Oh my God. So if they gonna do anything, they gonna take a project from season to season to season. Jesus. So Marceau told her it should be done in 30 to 45 days. Tisha said, okay, I heard 30 days. Marceau said 30 business days, which we know is very different than 30 days. Tisha thinks she's gonna get that brokerage done soon, and I can't wait to see it. Marquez and Maurice. So Marquez shows up to Maurice's office space because he wants to get some more insight. Maurice wants to find out Marquez's side of the story because he has so much wisdom in that head, okay? So Marquez said, look, the divorce papers said we didn't have no minor children, and because we didn't have no minor children, we have to do this, and he starts talking in circles. It didn't make sense. Do I believe that paperwork did not list minor children? I kind of do, right? I'm a Libra. Always going to be real balanced, always going to see both point of views. And what I know for sure is that Trisha is a liar. What I know for sure is that Trisha don't want to divorce this man. Because if Trisha wanted to divorce this man, she would have been divorced him. Do I think that Trisha might have messed up some paperwork somewhere just because she does not want to marry Ken? Absolutely. Absolutely, okay? So Maurice is like, do y'all got a lawyer? And Marquez is like, no, do you do this? Maurice said, no, I don't deal with matters of the heart. But in these cases, what happens is each of you are going to retain a lawyer. You're going to spend all this money. When you run out of money, the court will make a judgment. That's how it goes, okay? So Marquez tells his version of the story about when he got to Trisha's house. The one thing that is constant in both stories is he walked his ass up in that house unannounced, okay? Marquez said that he now understands why Trish loves Ken so much, because when Ken reached out to him, okay, Ken reached out to him and he was like, this is, I don't trust it. But then like hour one went through and then we had hour two. And then by hour three, I was like, damn, I kind of love the nigga. I was like, what? But Marquez said that Trish loves Ken because Ken reminds her so much of her father, and he's not that type of person. And that's what Trish wanted out of Marquez, and he's just not that man. We can take that with a grain of salt because we don't know what part of that he's like referring to, okay? So Marquise asked, what did Marquez do to aid in the dissolution of the marriage? Marquez said, I didn't leave after the first year of marriage when I knew we weren't going to work, when I knew it was a mistake. Marquez said that his own father said that they would not last 5 years. He wanted to prove his father wrong, so after 5 years came, he was like, I bet. Then it was 7 years, then 10 years, then 12, and by that point, she started to have all these different deaths in her family and all these different things that were happening around her, and he could not leave her at that point. So you just, left like a thief in the night. So you ultimately did, but okay. So basically, Marquez's father didn't like Trish. That's what I got out of that, okay? So Marquez believes that Trisha never wanted to divorce him. I believe that. Said that Trish only filed for divorce because Ken made her. I believe that as well. Now, then Marquez goes on to say that I gave her to Ken. And now it's getting a little like, did the upper kick in or did something wear off? Okay. So he then said that if he wanted her back, he could have her. That, I'm going to be real with y'all, I believe that shit. I 1000% believe that. I believe that if Marquez went and did a whole lot of smooth talking to Trish, he will be able to get her ass back. I could be wrong, but I believe that. Marquez then goes on to say, in a perfect world, my son would be with me, we would live together, and then my daughter would keep on dancing, and then like Ken and Trish, they would get together and like their relationship would grow, and then we would take family vacations together, and then I would have a girlfriend. I was with Maurice. Well, no. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. A lot of Marquez's scenes seem very scripted. Carlos, you giving this nigga a script. Because a lot of it just kind of don't, yeah, you know what I mean? We then get a scene with Tisha and MJ, and it is amazing how much they're filming with their children now. But she's picking him up from school, I guess. It is his 18th birthday, and she wants to spend as much time with him as possible before he goes off to college. So she's asking him, why does he want to go so far away? Probably because y'all embarrass his ass every single day that this show was on. That could be why. She was like, this could be the last time you ever live in Huntsville, because when she moved out of the sticks, remember Mark said she lived on the wrong side of the tracks. When she moved from over there, she never went back. Okay, I mean, you stayed in Alabama, though, but you just, never moved back. So she said that if he goes to Michigan, she's going to get a townhouse around the corner from the campus so she can come visit him every week or maybe every other week. He was like, I'll call you once a week. MJ then goes on to say that he will miss Marceau more because he is a pillar to him, and Tisha is more like a straight line that keeps him going forward. I said, wow. This is the same father that didn't know you had a nut allergy and told you to go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Almost took you out as a child. But hey, Tisha says in her confessionals that Marceau is the fun parent. Marceau is all laughter and games and all that type of stuff. And she is the parent that has to keep everybody in line. So cool. We can get this final traumatizing scene to us as viewers between Trisha and Ken. Marquez is coming over to talk. Trisha thinks that she should invite Sharon. Why? Why is Sharon's rude ass coming back over here? She wants to invite Sharon because she believes that Marquez owes her an apology. I think that Sharon owes Marquez an apology too. But okay. So Ken wants Trisha to be open to listening to Marquez, okay? Marquez's feelings and stuff like that are valid, and I want you to be open to that. And he points out, we don't have issues until Marquez comes around. Trisha's like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. She's weird. She doesn't know how to think about anybody outside of herself. She don't even care about Ken's feelings. But whatever. So Ken feels that he is not as direct about boundaries with Marquez as he should be, okay? He then reiterates, we need to let Marquez express himself. Trisha said that is a lot for her. So Marquez rings the doorbell and walks his ass right on in again. Now, I need to understand if production is telling him to or if he is just doing it. Because the real issue is, why isn't y'all door locked? Couple things are in play there, okay? So, Trisha's mad, and you can see that while Ken is trying to let it go, Ken is willing to let this go, Trisha keeps saying it because Trisha wants to get underneath underneath Ken's skin. She wants Ken to get upset because she likes this toxicity that goes on between the two of them. Marquez sat down and was like, where my drink at? Whoa. Whoa, nigga, whoa, okay? So Ken said, look, I'm frustrated because we have made some progress, and now we've moved a couple steps backwards after the incident from the other day. Marquez said, you should have set these boundaries years ago. We should have set these boundaries when we were together and y'all started talking. Right? So Trisha then goes on to say, well, you walked in my house uninvited. No, let's talk about boundaries. Trisha, where were the boundaries? Because let's be very, very clear. Ken and Trisha were talking while Marquez was still in the picture. They were talking. Whether or not Trisha wants to admit that or not, they were talking. Because we can do the math, right? So Marquez was like, okay, fine. Boundary set. Now what? So Marquez is like, I did not just walk in the other day. My daughter came in. She opened the door. She had 2 drinks and 3 bags in her hand. I'm not going to just let her walk in like that. Now, truth be told, Marquez, we didn't see you come in with nothing, and we didn't see the daughter walk in. So I don't know if it's a matter of the daughter is not going to be on camera, so they cut away from that part, or whatever the case. But I remember I said it, I know a couple people said it on social media, when he said that he was dropping off his daughter, she must have opened the door and let him in. Now, this episode, you walked your ass in them people's house, okay? So Sharon comes over now, and Trisha is like, well, Sharon was just feeding off of your energy. You need to apologize, and she's trying to go in. Marquez was like, whatever. Marquez stands up and said, let me introduce myself. My name is Marquez. How are you doing? I apologize. Woo, woo, woo. Cool. Sharon accepts it. He offers Sharon a seat. He offers Sharon a drink. I said, this is not your house. But he was like, you want some water? We got lemonade. We got some iced tea. Like, why are you offering Sharon a drink, Marquez? Why is Sharon here? Right? So Marquez asked Trisha why she felt the need to talk down about him to Sharon. Trisha doesn't want to talk about the past. No, we can talk about the past because that is the same conversation, right, that you had an issue with Marquez being a part of. So yeah, we can talk about the conversation, Trish. What do you mean you don't want to talk about it right now? So Ken was like, how about this? We need to stop bringing up the kids altogether. Marquez was like, yeah, because y'all are traumatizing the kids. So then Ken was like, the kids ain't traumatized. The kids ain't traumatized. I'm going to tell you this. If the kids are traumatized, it's because of Trisha's weird ass. Trisha was the one, when her and Marquez were talking back and forth, that kept involving Xavier in their argument. Imagine your parents having an argument back and forth. Your estranged, semi-divorced parents having an argument back and forth, and your weird-ass mumbling mama keeps saying, Xavier, what you saying, Xavier. Like, that's what was happening. So if anybody's traumatized, it's Xavier, and it's because of you, Trish. Ken, it's because of Trisha, right? So Marquez said, well, you can't assure me of anything about my kids. So then Ken does that whole, he pulls out his big joker. They your kids, but this is my family. I said, the way Sharon was like, oh. Trisha smirked because that's what Trisha wants. Sharon's flabbergasted. She didn't know she was coming over for this. Trisha wants this toxic exchange though, right? So Marquez said, no, you're the boyfriend to Trisha. And I was like, I mean, facts. Facts. If we're going to be real about it, that's facts. You are just her boyfriend. You're not even her fiance. You're not even engaged to her. You're the boyfriend that she doesn't want to marry, Ken. Like, what's happening up here? So then Ken starts saying, well, I'm in the house every day. I'm going to Zaria's dance thing tomorrow. Are you going? Marquez was like, yes, I'm going to be there. Didn't I give you $500 for that? No, he said, didn't I give you money for that? Ken was like, yeah, you gave me $500. You know how much that shit cost though, bro? You paid $500 less, Ken. You paid $500 less, right? So Ken tells Marquez, you don't get cool points for doing what you're supposed to do. Damn it, Ken, tell yourself that. You keep saying that this is your family, right? You don't get cool points for you going to Zaria's dance shit tomorrow either. If we gonna be real about it. Like, Ken don't be thinking. If Marquez don't get cool points, neither the fuck do you. What are you talking about? So Ken then said, well, I'm not trying to get cool points. Yes, you are. Yes, your big ass is. Okay? So Marquez then said, Trisha, you are the issue, which is true. And if Sharon was really Trisha's friend, she would have told her, girl, I look, all of this that's happening, this is not okay. Trisha is at the root. She is the nucleus of all the issues. Marquez brings up the divorce and said that Trisha put there are no minor children on the divorce papers. Trisha flips her lid. She jumps up and she runs against the papers because they're easily accessible. And she comes back and it's like, look, and she's showing Sharon. And Sharon is like, okay, girl, y'all moving the paper. Hold it still. Hold the paper still. So she's looking at it and they're like, see, Xavier, Zaria, and Marquez was like, where? Where on the paper? I don't see. And I'm like, oh, the way that they were shaking that paper, y'all, they was just look, right here, the kids. I was like, oh my God. So Marquez is standing up. And it's like, well, the original paperwork said that there are no minor kids, and Trisha is like, the divorce got reassigned because you contested it. Who knows and who cares? Not me. All right. So now Marquez and Ken are both standing up, and Ken tells him, you need to sit down. Sit your ass down. Sit down. And I'm like, who you talking to? Because that's not a little boy. That's not your child, Ken. So Ken is like, sit down or get out. Sit down or get out. Sit down or get out. I said, oh man, he's upset. He's upset. So finally, it looks like they about to come to fisticuffs and Ken about to put the foo-faps on Marquez's little ass. That's what's about to happen. Because all you can hear is stop, Ken. And I'm like, Sharon, go pull your mumbling friend over to the side and tell her this is not okay. at all. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.